So, hey guys, today I realized why I find playing against Ryzeal and also Malice just to be so unfun. And by unfun, I mean just like, I'm just not having that great of a time playing against them. But, um, it's not like that the decks are broken necessarily. It's just that there's this one gimmick related to how the deck design works for these guys that is so particularly annoying for me. So if we have, let's say I have infinite impermanence in my hand, right? Specifically 2 copies of imperm. Alright. I have 2 imperms, and then we're against, let's go with Malice. Okay, so we go normal summon Dormouse. And from here, gotta mention, if your opponent only plays MTP 07 and GWC 06, 06 is not activatable and only MTP 07 is, so it's like a 1 in 40. They have 1 card in 40 cards that they could possibly set that would dodge the imperm. And also, if they specifically normal summon Dormouse, and you can call their bluff, technically, and just immediately negate the Dormouse, but probably not that great because if they have March Air, they just link this off, special summon Dormouse, and then banish a guy from the deck. So, not necessarily the play all the time, but that'd be like insane VM if you hard red them, that type of thing. But also, yeah, Dormouse, just one of these imperms, and then combo's dead. There's nothing to it. And if we were to, instead of doing Dormouse, we have White Rabbit, negate White Rabbit. Okay? There's no combo in either of these scenarios, right? And even if we start with Malice in the Underground or Gold Sark, 1 imperm, no combo, right? But if we throw in just a single, in this case, could be March Hare, could be Gold Sark, could be Malice in the Underground. Let's try throwing in 1 March Hare. So we obviously negate this. This gets linked off. The Dormouse would get linked off for a link 1. So let's go with maybe like Lingribo, banishing Dormouse, nothing we can imperm here. Special summon March Hare plus Dormouse. Links off for, we'll go with Link Decoder. I guess we could went Link Decoder immediately instead of Lingribo then. But okay, whatever. Link off the 3 for Red Ransom. Attempt Red Ransom effect, and also we'll special summon back the Link Decoder while we're here. And now we imperm on Red Ransom. There's legitimately no good point. We can imperm. If we don't imperm this, it will allow grab Malice on Underground, which can then be used to banish Red Ransom, and also then allow you to potentially also banish Malice in the Mirror to banish Red Ransom, which would then allow you to add a Malice card. So that could be March Hare for next turn, that could be a Chesty Cat if they haven't normal summoned yet, if they start with like Gold Sark, for example. And if there was a Malice trap like TB11 that would allow the search of GWC06 as well. So, yeah. Double imperm. There is no choke point that we could possibly target with our imperms here, I don't think. If we targeted Red Ransom, they can still go into White Binder. We could link off Link Decoder plus Red Ransom for Blizzard Hacker Dose, I believe, right? This is completely generic, is it not? 2 monsters with different names, yep. And then we could banish copy of Red Ransom with that, for example, and then still make Apollosa afterwards. And of course, you could technically also make Splash Mage to make White Binder to then banish the Red Ransom with the White Binder effect as well. So those are just different ways you can extend. And I mean, yeah, that's 2 imperm, right? But if we were just dealing with just a single copy of Dormouse, imperm wins 1-on-1, but if it's 2-on-2, we just don't win anymore. And now the RNG part, like, I mean, it is technically still RNG for you to open like certain hand traps, but the basic idea here is if it's a one-on-one, the Ryzeal and Malice cards both kind of work like this, right? Where if your opponent only has the one starter, a single hand trap takes it out, and then you've essentially taken the card out back, right? But if you have two cards together, then you can't win with like a 2-on-2. I'm not even sure if 2-on-3 would work and be able to stop the combo. If I like calced out the combo and checked for choke points, I'm not sure if like 3 imperm would be able to necessarily stop like these combos because it's so I guess like disgusting, I guess. But yeah, you don't really have control over if your opponent has like 1x Ryzeal or 2x Ryzeal, for example, because unlike Malice, that this can just be normal summoned, and then you can make Duo Drive. And that's not even like the best starter you have, right? So, for example, if we have uh, Special Summon X, then we can follow up with normal summon either Ice or Special Summon Sword, and then even if you negate the Sword, we can make Duo Drive. If you negate the Duo Drive, we can go Special Summon the Star. We still have access to a Ryzeal spell trap. So in this case, it would be like probably the Ryzeal Cross and not Plasma Hole. But they should still be able to get into the detonator, regardless of what you hit, I believe, right? So let's go ahead and check real quick. Special summon this, negate this. Special summon this, negate this. Grabs, do drive grabs, field spell, plus ice. Ice special summon star. That would grab plasma hole, and you make detonator. And that's through 2 imperm. Okay, so we negate duo drive instead. Then sword adds ice. You can normal summon ice here, I guess. Ice effect, special summon star. Star will then grab you the field spell and then make detonator. So it's better to hit the duo drive, I guess, technically here. But still the same in the sense that, you know, your opponent essentially has detonator plus Ryzeal cross. That doesn't change. And then if you want to get have an even more fun time, calculate what the odds are that your opponent has a second starter slash extender type card to extend the play if you have imperm. I haven't done the exact calc, but it should be around 50 to 60% or something like that. So it doesn't really matter to me who it favors too much, because it's close enough to 50% that I'll just call it a 50-50. So not only did you lose the 50-50, that would be like the coin flip, right? But if I throw imperm on the Stormhouse and then there is a Martyr in my opponent's hand, it feels like you lost just straight up 2 50-50s. And that is what I dislike about Ryzeal and Malice, mostly. But yeah, if you did win the coin flip, it's like, okay, none of these starters or extenders matter, because you can just blow these up, I guess, and just remove them from the field. And it's not even remotely a problem anymore. And it's just, in my opinion, very easy to deal with. Because, I don't know, if we have like a format Appaloosa, well, Malice gets hurt a lot more by that than Ryzeal, but if we have like one piece of removal plus Appo, I'm pretty sure that that'd be able to do it. Inherent summons actually help a lot against Appo, I guess, so it's like a matchup thing for Appo, but yeah. If I set up a full end board, I'll be able to play through some stuff as well. It's just mostly like going second being miserable in general. It's not even just these decks necessarily. Because with Fiendsmith, it's also like a somewhat similar thing. It's not as bad because 2 hand traps could be able to kill a Fiendsmith line, right? So if we go with Fiendsmith, like, let's say I have an Ash Blossom Joe Spring. If I Ash Engraver or Tract, then we're likely not to see a Fiendsmith combo from this point, because the Engraver won't really do anything in the graveyard. That doesn't feel that bad. If I Ash the Requiem, that doesn't feel too bad either. If you were to Ash the Lacrima, that can kind of work sometimes as well. It depends on the exact line. But if we have I guess like Lacrima, this is the only point you can imperm, I think, or the first point you can imperm that will stop the combo. So if we go like specifically Tract for Lurie, Special Summon Lurie, Link off for Requiem, Requiem effect, Special Summon Lacrima. If you imperm this can stop the combo, but if your opponent has any normal summon or any additional monster, you can then still go into a sequence, and that could potentially still be a combo, I guess. There won't be an Engraver in the graveyard though, right? Do you need Engraver? Not for Lacrima, actually. Not really sure what this goes into 100%, but it depends on the exact situation. But yeah. If we wait for like sequence effect or a bunch of like different choke points, it depends, right? It's situational because you're usually not just going to be playing Fiendsmith by itself, I'd say. A lot of those choke points that you would hit for Fiendsmith, sometimes you can extend through those. Kind of RNG. You have like the additional exact card you need, I guess. Feels less consistent than this, I suppose. And then there was also something else, right? With the Fiendsmith stuff in particular, the other annoying thing is that if this guy, if Engraver ever hits the graveyard, then you will have combo on the next turn as well. You can return any Light Fiend, and then go into like Requiem, try Lacrima again. That stuff is just a little annoying, a little tiresome, I guess. So there was that aspect that was a little bit annoying, but it's fine as long as there's no like turn 3. And that was more annoying, and I feel like it wasn't that bad of a thing for Fiendsmith to have, like some grind game. Except when it becomes like splashed into other decks, that's when I mind. But when it isn't being splashed, like the deck doesn't have that much going for it. So at least these decks have locks on them. That's something, I guess. Or archetypes, whatever. I'd have to analyze like the exact hand traps more maybe, but pretty frustrating either way to see just, well, how your hand traps could just have no point where they matter at all, but they're the only thing you would have in your deck list that do anything. And one thing you might be thinking for like the imperm is like, okay, but what if we held imperm for detonator? If I had just like one imperm and I want to hold this for detonator, this is actually something that doesn't work for so many reasons. It's crazy. I might as well throw this out. So firstly, there is Star Liege. So this one, while this XYZ summon monsters on the field, your opponent cannot target monsters you control with 2,000 or more attack. With card effects, also they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So that will be a little bit annoying, granting protection to detonator and potentially to a drive, depending on when you make this. So that's great, I guess. And then following this, there's also the fact that if we go imperm, target detonator, and your opponent gets to like full combo, right? Then we can go detonator, target detonator. The effect to protect is optional. It says you can detach one. It doesn't say you have to detach one. So then we can destroy detonator, which allows us to go special summon detonator with plugin, and then we can go plasma hole. And when we go plugin and also plasma hole, this will give the detonator we special summon back 2 materials still. And you of course have plasma hole as interruption as well. So not insanely great. And I guess the one good thing about this play in particular is that it would open up your opponent to like a triple tactics play. And Ryzeal Detonator can then run over, I guess, Duo Drive by battle at least. And that should be something. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.